Yes, people. Welcome back to Straight Facts. Oh, we've got a big one for you all today. Lots of breaking news, lots of sackings, lots of managers on the merry-go-round right now. And it's going to be interesting to see where people end up. Guys, before we get into the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to the Football Tales, and share this out there for everyone who is not watching right now when they get those numbers up. So make sure everyone can see the cooking that Staffy is about to deliver today, because he's told me personally he's ready to stir the pot, put the meat in the frying pan, and cook us a meal. So we can't wait for that. So yes, I am KJ. Yes, I am not Terry. Terry is at a wedding celebrating a wonderful marriage with friends and family. So guys, don't worry, Terry is fine. He will be here. He will be back. And tomorrow will be an upsetting day. But besides that, I'm hosting for you tonight. We are joined by the lovely, maybe semi-heartbroken Dan Lawless right now with what's happening at his club. And then we're joined by Staffy, who is, you can tell by his expression and his face that he's a very, very happy man.
Listen, I missed Straight Facts. I wasn't here last week. I wasn't feeling well. I was actually very, very ill for about 10 days. So thank you for everyone who checked on me. But I'm back. I missed Straight Facts. And what a banger, bro. Listen, we don't need Terry today. Big up Terry every time, but we don't need him for today's show. Today's show just carries itself on its own anyways. Because I'm going to start this show by saying one thing. Rivals, I know you don't like this. Alhamdulillah. I know you guys don't like this. Alhamdulillah. Erik Ten Hag is gone after the FA Cup final. It is a win-win situation for us. I either get to celebrate a cup or I get to celebrate this ball fraud leaving. Hey, I might even be lucky and celebrate both. I won't even be that greedy, but it's a win-win situation. And when's the last time any United fan has been in a win-win situation? I couldn't tell you. Today, man, I can't wait, KJ. Just get this show started already.
You know what? Let's just get into it then. Shall we just get into it? Dan, you ready to get into it?
I'm ready to get into it. I just want to say it's convenient that Terry's not here after Arsenal officially lost the league. I will say that. Very ridiculous by his absence. He was
questions will be asked. The questions will be asked.
Is happening. 3-peat is no more. Sorry, Man United fans. But you've got, like I said, you've got a little sign to smile about, even though your record was broken by the mighty Man City.
Heartbreaking, and we're getting into more.
What a way to ruin the mood, bro. We're getting
to bring us down, bro. Man City and Man United a little bit. But we got to start off with the big breaking news that came out by Jacob Steinberg. He's reported that Man United have decided to sack Erik Ten Hag after the FA Cup final. Now, this is massive news because people, it's been a lot of will he go, won't he? It's been a lot of Man United been talking to this manager, that manager, all the managers under the sun. But at the end of every kind of report is that's if they choose to sack Ten Hag. That is if Erik Ten Hag leaves Manchester United. This is now the second journalist to have come out and said verbatim that Man United will sack Erik Ten Hag. DiMarzio said it, I think, earlier in the week or last week. Now you've got Jacob Steinberg, a British-based journalist, coming out and saying the day before FA Cup final, his reputation on the line. You can't make this statement. You can't come out and say this statement without it being true, because your credibility as a journalist is on the line. But Staffy, it is looking like Ten Hag is out the door, regardless if he wins the FA Cup. How do you feel?
Bro, let me just say something about Jacob Steinberg. First of all, he's a pussy. I'll tell you why. Because to come out 24 hours before the FA Cup final to say that's some nasty work. Don't get me wrong. I like the news, but he's still a pussy for that. Secondly, you know when you look in the sky and you just see it's mad cloudy and gloomy and it's about to rain and you're like, yo, KJ, I don't know if you should say this, but in about an hour, I think it's going to rain. Duh, it's obvious. Like, I think him coming out to say this is just pure greed. He wants to be the first one to come out and say it. So when it actually does happen, he builds up some credibility. And he's like, remember, I was the first one to say it. Let's be honest, bro. I think most of us seen this coming. I think most of us, we've spoken about this for weeks now. No way INEOS and everyone they hired, so including obviously Sir Jim with Sir Dave and what's his name, Omar Barada and Wilcox and Dan Ashworth and all these people that we praised for all the work that they've been done in football. No way any of us looked at them and we are like, you know what, these guys are mugs. They're probably going to keep him anyways, regardless if he wins the FA Cup. I don't think anyone saw it that way because our season is not defined on a one-off game against Man City in a cup competition. Let's be honest. If Ten Hag would have finished the season trophyless, but he was playing decent football, and he's like, okay, he's slightly, he competed for the league. He just like he did decent in Europe, this and that. We'd have a different conversation, but we're not. That's not the conversation we're having. The football has been so bad this year. That league position, we finished 8th on 58 points, I think. Only 2 points off our worst season, which was the one under Ranić and Oli season, which is like 2 years ago, something like that. Finishing 8th, the worst rank we ever had in Premier League history. Finished bottom of our group in Europe. Finished completely outside of Europe in the league. And the only hope for us to get to Europe is if we beat City in the cup. So many things. I could sit here and list all the things. 14 defeats, the most we ever had this season. -1 goal difference, the worst goal difference we ever had. There's a list, bro. I could sit here and just bore everyone with the list. All this should have already told you that regardless of what happens in the FA Cup final, he should be sacked. I wasn't going to sack him because he lost the FA Cup final. Same reason I wouldn't want him to keep the job because he won the FA Cup final. The writing was on the wall, KJ. That's what I'm trying to say. Everyone, including United fans and rivals, should have known that no matter what happens, he needs to go. So whatever happens on the weekend, to me, is a bonus. If we win the FA Cup, listen, I'm going to personally thank him. I know people always say I'm harsh on him and this and that. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes I am harsh on him, but I'm a football fan at the end of the day. Emotions are involved when I speak about my team and all the employees in my club. However, if he wins me a FA Cup on the way out, I'm going to salute him. I'll be like, listen, thank you. Just shut the door behind you, and I'm going to remember you for 2 good things, that you gave me 2 trophies. I'm going to thank him for that. Same thing we did with LVG. We all felt bad for LVG. But we understood why he got sacked. We said, thank you for the FA Cup, but you got to go. This guy's actually worse than LVG. So if we give LVG that treatment, we 100% better give this guy this treatment. And this is where I stand, bro. So Ten Hag, you won't be missed, bro. And as I said earlier, Troops' channel, I'll say it here, إلى مزبلة التاريخ. And I'm not going to translate what that means.
Yeah, I might have to go Google Translate just to find out myself. Dan, you're obviously not a direct rival of Man United. You're always a hater though, because you are, not a Man United fan, and everyone hates us anyway. But from the outside looking in as a neutral, what do you think this is the right move from INEOS and Sir Jim to make going forward in this new era of Manchester United, is to get rid of Erik ten Hag?
I think ultimately it's the right decision, like based on where you finished 8th in the league. Stacky's just listed a whole abundance of reasons why, and I agree. Like it's the right decision. However, I think they should have just kept their cards a little bit closer to their chests. If this leak is coming from somewhere, if Steinberg hasn't just pulled it out of his ass and guessed, because like we said, the writing's been on the wall. If it's actually come from a source inside the club, then that's poor. Because, what does this do for the team? What does this do for the manager's motivation going into a cup final? The chances, as I said in the group chat, it was very unlikely for Man United to win. But there's always that Man United shithouse chance. Do you know what I mean? That you could just pull it off. And that chance has now shrunk, because going into that, you're 10, no matter what, you ain't keeping your job. You're getting sacked. Your mind's already focused on what's next, what's after. The players are already thinking about, okay, who's the next guy? Am I still going to be here? Am I going to be in the club's plans? So that's the mistake for me, is them not keeping it closer to their chest. But yeah, ultimately, to have the club have been talking about managers all this time, or looking at managers, just do it. None of this. Will they, won't they? Maybe we should keep him. If you're already thinking about possibly sacking him, just sack him. INEOS and Jim Ratcliffe are in new era, fresh start, new manager. But that appointment has to be right, which we'll obviously talk about in a bit, because a lot of the names that I've been seeing linked with your club, I don't know if you're going to get it right. And that's the worry. That is the worry.
Yeah, like for me, it's what's needed to be done in terms of he has to go. He needs to go, and it's not because I think he's a terrible coach. I've said many a time I think he'll go somewhere else and absolutely bang. Like if he went to Bayern, he would do well at Bayern. If he goes back to Holland, he would do well there. Maybe do well like Italy or France or somewhere. What he was trying to do at Man United, what he was trying to do in England wasn't it and wasn't good enough to be sustainable for us to win trophies at the biggest end of the scale. We might win an FA Cup, but we want to win the Champions League. We want to win the Premier League. So that's the aim that we're going for. In terms of all right, listen, stuff is right. Steinberg, that's nasty work. The day before final is crazy, absolutely insane to release that news. And like I said at the start of the show, if this is wrong and they end up keeping him for whatever reason, his reputation is finished. He's done. Because you can't be like hey, listen, loads of people get reports wrong. That's fine. People get fed wrong information or things changed miraculously and then boom, like the story changes. That's fine. But the way you've done it, releasing it before final, knowing that Man United have been trying to keep them quiet for the entire week because they are trying to focus on the FA Cup final and just let things play out, that is nasty work, as Steffi said, nasty work. So
but it's a nasty world out there.
It is. It's a cold world. It's a cold.
What is that video? What was the rapper? Who was the rapper that said that there was that famous meme? It's an evil world out there. I forgot what it is. I need to go look at it again. Yeah. That's what it is, bro. Cool. It's an evil world, bro. Everyone's just trying to do what's good for them, and that's what he did, bro. And if he gets it wrong, go ahead.
Yeah. What I will say though is there's a lot of Man United fans who are still Erik ten Hag in, which is their prerogative, and they believe that he should be given another year. And one of the lines I've been hearing recently from many people is, "But it's a project. We've started a project, and we need to break the cycle and complete the project. Get the players out first, and then if you're not good with a new structure, then get rid of him." But my question is this: my rebuttal to that is this: INEOS is starting their own project. INEOS did not buy Man United to continue on the Glazer projects, because at the end of the day, this project we started with the Glazers, started with Murtaugh, it started with what's his name, Arnold. That's who started this project. They've come in, and it's not like they've come into a team that's winning and it's like, you know what, yeah, we've invested into this club, we bought 25% of this club because we want to continue on enhancing the project that's going on here. They've come here and said, whoa, this is what's going on in this club is foolishness. This club is broken. So why would they continue on with a project that they don't even want to start in the beginning with? They didn't want to start this. This is not the guy they picked. This is not the people that they picked to run the club when they got here. So it doesn't make any sense for them to keep Ten Hag if they don't see him as part of their project. Because it's not continuing on with the project that's going on now. It's time to start a new one. It's the INEOS project that's starting. And if they don't believe that he is the guy to do it, which, by the way, most ownerships don't. Most ownerships coming into a new club will inevitably get rid of the manager they inherit because it's not their guy. Unless it's Pep. Pep and Klopp are probably the two only men that you would inherit and be like, okay, let's keep the ball rolling. But it's not. He's not Pep. He's not Klopp. He's not shown that he's got the qualities to take us to the top. And we're going to get onto the manager credentials of all the candidates in a minute. But to sit there and say we have to continue with Ken Ten Hag because we want to break the cycle is not break. Like, the cycle's already broken because we're going to have football people making the decisions. We're going to have a total restructure from the top to bottom. We've got people, even the little things like staff coming back in, cleaning up the training ground, cleaning up the offices, planning a new stadium, developing the area around Manchester. That's all new. We haven't seen that before. So the cycle of the Glazers running this club is broken. Now they're just choosing to do it from scratch, scorch earth, start from the bottom and build up. And guess what? Many Man United fans have been screaming for that for years. Now we're actually getting it, and now they're upset. I don't understand.
Because they're scared of change, KJ. This is what people do. They're scared of change. The average person that sits here in the comments and slags us off for saying we want the manager out, I bet you that this person doesn't really have a lot of accountability in their lives. Because accountability is the hardest thing that you have to do. When you're held accountable to your own actions, regardless of the context around everything that happened, it's hard for some of these people, okay? We were not keeping the same energy when Murto left. Why did no one say, oh, but Murto deserves a chance under INEOS? Why did no one say that? What's the other guy we got rid of? Murto, and who's the other guy? Richard Arnold. When Richard Arnold left, why did no one say, oh, but he deserves a chance under INEOS? No one said that. No one said that at all. When we're talking about hiring new directors of football, no one said Fletcher deserves another chance. No one was saying that. How come with the manager, he's the only one we're sitting there like, we know what? You know what? He deserves a second. Why? Okay, but please, someone explain to me why. Outside of sentiment and tears, because I'm tired of sentiment and tears. I don't care for tears. I'll drink your tears like KJ is drinking that water right now. Please tell me why he deserves a second chance. Because last season, when the season went well, we only credited Ten Hag. Remember that, KJ? I always found that weird, by the way. When people look at last year, they look, oh, but Ten Hag did this, this, and that. Hold on a minute. Why didn't you credit the players? Why didn't you credit the Glazers? Why didn't you credit the board? Why did Arnold not get credit? Why did Murto not get credit? Why did Fletcher not get credit? Why did not the backroom staff get credit? Why was last year all on Ten Hag, but this year it's all about everyone else but Ten Hag? Because someone explain to me why. What has Ten Hag done in this club to get defended so much by this fan base as he's been here? Bro, he's not Fergie's son, bro. I would understand if he's Fergie's son, but like, you know what? We love Fergie. We have an emotional attachment to them. I get that. But what has he given us? When people say give him time to prove what? Oh, but the injuries. Okay, Newcastle and Chelsea had more injuries than us, and they finished ahead of us. Funny enough, Chelsea finished ahead of us, and they sacked their manager. And I'm supposed to sit here with less injuries and a worse position and a worse season than them and say, yeah, give this manager time. Give him time for what? Can you explain to me what have you seen in 2 years that will change next year? But we had injuries. Okay, what did the injuries have to do with the stuff that we've been saying all season? I don't want to ramble on for too long, but we talked about this way too many times. I'm always on the terrace. When we talk about decisions on the pitch, Ahmad not playing and persisting with Anthony, even though Anthony's been horrible. The mistakes in the midfield, playing Casemiro as a lone pivot, not using Amrabat after he chased them all summer. All the injuries in the backline. Okay, so why were you using this player and that player? We talked about so many things throughout the season that I'm not going to sit here and talk about them all again. Why did all that get ignored and people just say, give him another season? Another season for what? Another season for what? Anyone here, if they're underperforming at their job, I'll tell you what, if KJ is doing a horrible job at the terrace and the terrace views are going down, the subs are not going up, the work is not good enough, people stop watching, Terry's going to have a chat with them. He's like, if you don't improve whatever you're doing, obviously I don't know exactly how you guys split the work. He's going to be like, listen, if this doesn't work, I might have to find a replacement. No one's going to be like, KJ has been here for all these years and you must keep him. No, it is a business at the end of the day. You need to understand that these clubs at the end of the day, even though it is football and we love the sport of football and we all grew up watching the football, at the end of the day, this is a business. These people are decision makers based on business models. Football itself, when you talk about improvements on the pitch, that's actually a developmental plan. That is, at the end of the day, a business plan. This is what we want our product to look like. If our product doesn't look like this and it doesn't meet the quality that we want, we will look for someone else to do it. If I underperform at my job today, KJ, they're going to have a meeting with me. They're going to be like, we're going to give you time to fix it. If you don't improve on these things, we may have to find another person. They're not going to say, Safi's been here for all these years. We must keep him. No one's going to do that, bro. They might appreciate the time that I had with them, but they'll be like, you're not good enough. You must go because it's a business at the end of the day. United fans, and I am sorry to say this. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm going to say it anyways. Some of them lack critical thinking. When they sit there and they think about how can we fix this, it's too hard for them to think. They don't want to look for the hard solution. They always want to look for the easy solution. This is why when you sit here, they don't want to talk about how do we fix things. Let's just stick to what we have and maybe it will work. No one will give you a real reason why Ten Hag can turn it around. because there's zero examples out there where managers have gotten it this bad and they've turned it around. So none of them want to think deep enough to say, this is how we should fix it. So they want to go with the lazy solution. And this is why this club has been shit for the past 10 years, bro. And I'm tired of being shit for 10 years. I don't want to be shit for another 10 years. I want these people who came in to work on their new project to do something. Someone banned this Chelsean guy in the chat because I see what he just commented there.
But yeah, like there's a lot of realness in what you just said there, Staffy. And I know people will obviously not like what you said and they will back Ten Hag. And to be fair, I'm not overly bashing anyone who's backing Ten Hag because you'll have your reasons. I just want to understand those reasons beyond he's had injuries, you know, like beyond those kind of things. What makes you want to believe that Ten Hag is the right guy? Before we go to some super chats, we do have to talk about the other half of this conversation, though. Yes, Man United are looking like they're sacking Erik Ten Hag, but we then have to talk about who's going to come in. And now, from reports, this is from for Dunker, this is from the Lawton Times. They said that they've drawn up a 4-man shortlist of the candidates they want to go for if they sack Erik Ten Hag. And it's Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, Kieran McKenna, and Thomas Frank. And then Sky Sports yesterday reported that United have met with Kieran McKenna's representatives just in case they sack Ten Hag. They met with Barada and Wilcox last week. Dan, seeing those names on that short list, kind of similar to Chelsea, this 4-man list. I don't know why both teams have a 4-man list. Why can't United have an 8-man list? But anyway, there's this 4-man list for Man United. When you see those names on that list, is there anyone that actually you can see on there that can turn Man United around with INEOS? Or is it just a load of just nonsense and it doesn't matter who we pick?
No, listen, I think out of all the names on the list, if I was a Man United fan, who I would go for would be Pochettino. I think that would be the one. The Staffy's not feeling it. But listen, like you're talking about McKenna and you're interviewing McKenna. Yeah, he plays good football. Man United fans keep talking about style of play. But cool, okay, you get him. He's going to give you good style of play. But when you're 8th still, you're going to be crying again that, oh, we're 8th. The style of play is good, but we're 8th. Like, if you want someone, yeah, you got someone like Tuchel. He's got the biggest credentials of any managers, but he's just had a hard time at Bayern Munich. He doesn't play terrible football, but you know he's not known for his brilliant attacking philosophy. Do you know what I mean? Thomas Frank is a bit flexible, but I think Pochettino was hard done by at Chelsea. The team that he was left with, Project Youth, you know, is just a whole bunch of kids that he had to try and, you know, implement his ideas on. Eventually, towards the end of the season, it came into fruition. Like 15 games, one defeat, 5 wins in a row in the last 5. It was all going around. Like, don't base what Chelsea Football Club do on whether you sign a man. Just because Chelsea Football Club decided to part ways or mutually part ways with Poch doesn't mean now that he's not the man or not good enough for Man United. The options out there are trash. But we all know, like, we can see, you Man United fans can sit there and say, cycle's broke, new manager, we're going to be patient, we're going to give this man time. Are you going to give McKenna 3 years, 4 years? How long is it going to take? Like, you guys are starving. You've seen your club post-Fergie have some of your worst times. You still picked up a few trophies in that, but look how it's been. You guys are not going to have the patience that you're telling us that you're going to have for someone like a McKenna who has
me
just
or the fan base
championships. I think all of you. I think even you, Staffy. I think even you, KJ. You know, Terry. You know, even I think after a couple seasons, yeah, if you're maybe pushing, you know, 6th or something like that, yeah, the style of play is better. You're not winning anything, and you're not really seeing like, yeah, we're going to be challenging next year. Like that's a long-term project. To be a new young manager who's inexperienced, rebuild the squad that you need, and with the players that you've got, if you don't get rid of the Luke Shaws, the Rashfords, the Maguires, the toxicity in this team, and you bring in someone young like McKenna, that's a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you.
let's dive into that a little bit, because I've been hearing people say a lot about, like, obviously the toxic players. Rashford's toxic, Maguire's toxic, Luke Shaw. Why they may be toxic? Why is it just them? Why is it always just them? Why can't Lindelof be toxic, or Ericsson be toxic? Or
Lindelof's not toxic. He just
look
sucks,
at the
bro.
English core, innit? It's I think people have always assumed it's the English players that are the brunt of it, and they're some of the ones that have been there for the longest as well. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
My main thing is this. Like, listen, I think in the summer, 15 players should go. 15.
15.
I would love it.
Oh my God. 15. You don't have a squad then.
Yeah, and then we bring in 8. That's what I would love to see. That, because that is definitely starting a new foundation. I don't think that will happen. I think that's a lot, but we will see. But I think people will be surprised about who the people are seeing as the toxic ones, or they're bringing the club down, compared to the ones that aren't. You know what I mean? So I'm not sitting here defending Rashford, saying like he doesn't have to go. He probably does have to go. But you might be surprised that maybe it's not actually not Rashford. Maybe he's not actually. Maybe he doesn't get sold. We sell a lot of players, and things start turning around with him in the club, in the team. I don't know if that will happen. But I'm just saying.
That will happen, KJ? Do you think? Do you think there's still? Okay, but do you think there's still a player? Do you think he can still live up to his potential and be good enough for Manchester United going forward?
Like I say, my hope is yes, because I love Rashi and I always will. But my head is saying that his head's gone, and it's too far gone now, to the point where he actually does need somewhere else to go. And if he just goes somewhere else, I'm not gonna hate on him. I'm not gonna despise the guy. But I will recognize that, bro, you didn't live up to what you could have done at Man United for whatever reason. Like, you had too many up and down seasons. You had too many times where you went ghost, and there's too many times on the football pitch you look like you didn't care. I know he does, but to us as fans looking,
wasn't he getting like partying the night before? What happened this season?
Yeah, he was in Dublin, and there's all these different things, and he's like, it's just things aren't going right, and something needs to change with him. But
he's not a kid anymore. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 20. He's 26. He's gonna be like 27. Or he might be 27 now. Actually, I'm not too sure. But here's the thing. You're right, Dan. We need time given to this new manager. Whether it is a young one or a more experienced one, we need to give them time regardless, because we need to uproot the culture and start it all over again. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be painful, because we have to go through 2 or 3 summers where the players leaving might be more than the players staying. Like, that might be the case every single summer. For the next 2 summers.
Let me just say something. First and for all, I don't think all these players are as bad as we're making out the team. I know we all have favorites. We all have players that we don't like. But I'll say this about everyone. They're not as bad as they are this season. The sole reason they are as bad as they are this season, I wouldn't say the sole reason, but the main reason is because the manager has been misusing them. There's certain players that I personally don't even like, and I'll tell you they've been misused. I don't like Casemiro, but I even know Casemiro's been misused. I still think he should go, but I know he could look better than this, just not significantly better. Same thing for Bruno. I don't really rate Bruno that high, but I know he's been misused this season. When he's being dropped to play at 8 and picking up the ball from his own half, I've never seen him do that before. He's not good at doing that. It's a myth. It's a myth that he could do that. And I said that in the summer, and I stuck by it, and people saw it this season. You know what his best capabilities are. We've seen Rashford being better last season when he's playing closer to the box, when he's making runs into the box. And I see the manager playing as a touchline winger. He's never been a touchline winger. He's an inside forward. The list can go on, and I just named some players that I don't rate, KJ. So no one can say it's an agenda. I just named players that people don't say I'm a fanboy of them. So now people can put that agenda thing to the side, okay? This manager has managed to make the whole squad, bar Mainu maybe, because we know the kid has quality. And I'm out in the couple games that he's played, so I don't really want to include him because it's not a big enough sample size. He made everyone look bad.
Dalot looked good. Said he made Maguire better, though. He
didn't make Maguire look better. Here's the thing. Maguire has performed well this season. I think there's 2 reasons why Maguire performed better. Maguire, the captaincy being removed from him, I think has relieved him because he stopped getting the slack. Imagine if Maguire was our captain this season. They would have blamed the whole season on him. The fact that he's not our captain, no one talks about it, which is good. Secondly, the amount of defending we had to do all season and him just chilling in the box and not actually having to play at the halfway line like big clubs would really did help him. I'm going to credit him for what he did. He's definitely not the future moving forward. But that's why he looked decent. But the manager didn't make him look decent. The way we had to play make him look decent. These players are much better than this, KJ. And we've seen last season, and we've seen it with other managers. They're not, I wouldn't say they're league-winning quality players. Yes, we know to win the league. But they're a bar minimum top 4, and I say this every year. These players are enough to compete for top 100%.
Yeah. Who did you say? Who else did you say?
Rashford is top 4
our best 11
top 4 in 2024.
In 2024, yo,
100%.
Fam, it's not that long ago that he was banging 30 goals. Let's be honest now. He's a top 4 player when he's on form. Same with Bruno
who would
Fernandes.
take him? Like who, if you sold him, who currently?
Are you saying top 4 in his position or top 4, like as in finishing in the top 4?
He's like good enough to play for a team that's in the top 4.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our squad is good enough to finish in the top 4.
Aston Villa made top 4 this season, bro. You telling me our team, some of our players can't get into the Villa team?
But are Aston Villa going to stay there? I know that, and listen, I know they're your second team, but I think there's one season wonders with them. But
yeah, and that's probably the case. But you know what?
Man United might take him because he likes to save players. He likes, let me save you and try and mold you and do like a Havertz on him or something. He might try and do that, but yeah, I can't see many teams taking him. To be fair,
it'd be hard to sell him. But Staffy, before we go to the super chats, guys, they are coming. Go keep them coming in. We are going to them in a moment. Who do you actually, from that list, see coming into Man United and doing a good job?
Who do I want or who do I see?
Who do you see and one? You can even if the guy's not on the list.
I have no favorite candidates, if I'm being honest with you. Poch now being available, don't get me Poch. I don't want Poch, and obviously I don't want Southgate. I said that before. Why? Do I really need to tell you why? Is that a real question? You really asking me why I don't want Poch? Have you seen the football that he's the situation he's put this Chelsea team in this season? The misusing of players, the injuries that he's forced them because of his training. But the guy wasn't even playing Europe, and he was getting these players injured, playing 1 game a week. The guy threw away a cup final against Liverpool kids because he was a coward and didn't want to attack. Yeah, I'm not blaming the whole Chelsea thing on him because I defended him at parts of the season. I said it is a part of playing with a young squad that you have to chop and change a lot until you figure out their best positions. He's nowhere near good enough. We've seen him from previous jobs as well. I was talking with LB earlier. He said he thinks he's very overrated because he thinks he should have won something with that Spurs squad. Might be a little bit harsh because they had a transfer ban for a couple of years, but he's done a decent job with Spurs, and that's about it. Why is he done with PSG? He's the only guy out there that managed to make a front line of Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe get questions. They were questioning that front line. That front line should win you everything. This guy somehow made this front line get questioned, playing Messi central and playing Neymar on the wing when it should be the other way around. Bro, this guy, listen, I think sometimes maybe people are a little bit harsh with Poch. I think he's a decent manager, but there's a ceiling for him. I look at people like Emery. Unai Emery always gets told that he's like a good manager, but he's not an elite manager. He's like a second-tier manager. This is why he wins all these cups. I don't understand why Poch is not in that tier with him. The fact that people rank Poch over Emery is baffling to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because he shouldn't be on the.
Does he? I don't know. I agree. I
wouldn't say elite, but people put him up there. The fact that he's in discussions with top 6 teams every year, that's crazy to me. Why is he in discussion? I find him in convos that someone like Unai Emery is not in. I think that Unai Emery be there. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense.
So you know to Poch, Tuchel,
I understand if we hire him. It wouldn't be. I will be very honest. I don't have any strong candidates. So every time you mention someone to me, I will tell you what I think the pros and cons are. That's why I said this to Terry. Whoever we get next, I won't 100% support it. Where I'm like, yes, that's the guy I wanted, but I will give him a chance. I'll be like, okay, I understand why they hired him, and I'm gonna give him a fair chance, and I'll see what they bring in. Tuchel, to me, he has the most experience, I guess, on this list. He has won stuff. What I like about Tuchel is he's very tactically sound. He's a very good in-game manager. My preservations around him, he's not a very good league manager. He's not a manager that is able to put a long-term plan for how a team plays and goes and competes for the league. That's the issue I've always had with him. But going into cup competitions with him, he'll always give you something because he's very good at reading game by game. Like the next game, if he's the manager going into the City game, who'll understand the strengths and the weaknesses of City, and will try his best to exploit them. That's one thing I like about him. But you can't really win leagues or playing league football with that way. So he's a little bit more short term. But I will understand it again because he does have the experience, and there's certain players in our squad that would actually fit him. The rest of the managers, McKenna, which I think, by the way, I think we'll get McKenna. The McKenna thing for me is what I like about McKenna is like he's just really worked in silence. So when they say just work in silence, that's what he's been doing. The guy was here first of all at United, so he knows the insides and outsides of the club. He's always been a manager. He's 38 and he's managed the Spurs under 18, United under 18. Then he was the assistant for Ole, and then he got his own job.
He was assistant for Jose first. People forget that as well.
Sorry for Jose when the other guy left. I forgot his name. Rafa something. Was it Rafa?
Yeah.
I forgot, but what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he went when his assistant left, the one that won the league, the Europa League with us. He managed with Jose, then with Ole, and actually stayed with Ranić. And then when we got Ten Hag, he left. So he's managed 2 under 18 teams, and then went to senior football, and he got Ipswich to do a back-to-back promotion. This guy, apparently, I was reading about it today. He has 193 points in 2 seasons. That's the most points in English football. Yeah, obviously, there's more games to be played in the Championship than the Premier League. So that's why he has more, but that's still impressive. And I think he broke the goal scoring record for Ipswich in one season. He has I forgot how many goals in 190 something.
Yeah, we had 96, 97 this season as well. Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the numbers he's putting is crazy. And one thing I really like about him, he has a plan of how he wants to play football, and he could do it in different formations. He could play a 3 in the back, and he could play a 4 in the back. But the brand of football doesn't really change much. So he can line you up differently, but with the same idea. And that's one thing I always appreciate about managers. Obviously, the one thing that I don't like about him is that he doesn't have a lot of experience. And going into an environment like this at United would be one thing that worries you. Because, might be a big job for him. It's his first time in the Premier League. He might get affected. Like, we could trust him on the pitch. He knows his tactics. But I don't know overall as a manager, how does he deal with the situation? And that would be the one reservation I have about him.
Who's your first choice? That's what I want to know. Out of them 4, who are you choosing? If you had to pick from them 4, who are you picking?
Okay, let me get that back up. These 4 in order.
From these 4, Tuchel and McKenna are first. Thomas Frank would be second or third in this case. Pochettino would put him in the bin.
Okay, so Tuchel or McKenna, which one then?
Tuchel and McKenna.
My head.
Why are you doing this to me?
No, listen, my head. Listen, okay, I'll be truthful. My head is Tuchel. But if you're going for a pure football fan dreaming, McKenna,
it's McKenna.
Poch. Yeah, McKenna, Tuchel, Poch, Frank. That's just the football romantic in me. That would be the order in it. Like it sounds mad. People in the comments will probably be like, I don't know ball, and it sounds crazy. Yeah, I know. But if I had my choice of manager, I could pick anyone in the world right now who's obtainable. It would be Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon. I think he's also an excellent manager.
Outside of this list, we'd all have a lot more favorites. But from that list solely, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've slagged off Tuchel too much in my life to come back right now and just I said, bro, some of the stuff that I said about him. Listen, if it gets aired, bro, people are gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe
coming out." Yeah,
no one digging behind me, bro. But I'm telling you, listen, I'm gonna be honest. No one is a strong candidate, but I'll probably go with McKenna because I feel like there's a movement in football right now where there's an upcoming wave of young managers, and I feel like everyone's trying to grab a young manager that they rate and try to build something with them. You look at Juventus, they're getting Thiago Motta. You look at Bayern, they're going for company. You look at Chelsea, they're also saying they want to grab a young manager. Even Liverpool grabbed a young manager in Arne Slot, even though he has the experience, he's been manager for a while, but he's also upcoming. When I say upcoming, at least upcoming to the scene. This old generation of managers, they're mostly washed. Only like Pep is still really surviving out there. And you could say Ancelotti, but that's a special case because of his relationship with Madrid. I would rather go for something new because I want to be the next man up. And I said this earlier. Everyone right now, let's just be very honest. Xabi Alonso is one of them as well. Everyone right now, let's just be honest. No one is knocking down Pep because this guy I'm convinced that this guy's just unbeatable at this point. for us to beat Pep, he has to choose to either lay down or just leave. He's gonna be like, you know what? So I'm bored of winning. What done it once, bro? It doesn't really count for me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Come on, man. You can't
take over. No. When I say beat Pep, it's just like to be the next man to overtake Pep, not just win him in a one-off, beat him in a one-off. Because obviously you can beat him in a one-off in a cup, you can beat him in a one-off in the league, where you just take one league off him. That's what Club did. That's what Conte did. I want to be the next man up with my team. Right now, Arsenal or Arteta are the next man up, and I want to be in that line just in case Pep actually leaves in 2025. And now it's chances for everyone else to start competing for the league. I want to be there. And I want to build that with a young team and a young squad. Not that I'm project youth, just because of what I'm looking at right now. I don't like this project youth thing. But what I have right now, I know I have to like take a step back before I take a step back. So I'd rather go for a McKenna. If I'm being
project, like,
and I'm banking on him. It's more of a personal thing. I feel like he will be like that manager in a few.
25, 26 is the year everybody eats in it. That's when hopefully Pep's finally gone. We're gonna go to some super chats now, guys, and some comments from you guys in the comment section. First up, Chike says, "Big up, gents. Who do y'all think will win Euro 24?" We'll come back to one in the end. I'll save that one for later. Twisted Bubba says, Erik ten Hag should take United to an employment tribunal. Unfair dismissal. Bro, man. Nah, there's no such thing as unfair dismissal in football. It's you can't do that. You can't do that. Unless Dan Ashworth is trying to say that, actually. So he can, apparently. Terry, who do you think Pigeon fart or what?
Well, luckily Terry's not here, so we don't have to.
Okay. Yeah, save that for him because I want to know. I want to take a picture and post that because I need context from Terry. Because maybe Terry knows something we don't know.
Harry, are you all right, mate? That is what? Okay, that's probably the strangest super chat I've ever seen in my life. INEOS manager, this is from Patrick, says INEOS manager call is huge, indicates club direction, outcomes will impact how fans trust their judgment. They imply new manager will be given time, so it needs to be the right call. New board's rep is on the line right away. Yep, it's true. They've got to prove themselves right now. Like Erik ten Hag will be going, in my opinion. And they have to give the next man time, and that man needs to be able to get us to a point where at least where Arsenal are, where you're on the cusp of becoming champions.
Does it need to? Can they not afford to make a mistake? INEOS is their first time. Say they make a mistake, but then they deal with it, right? You can see it's a clear mistake, and they act, and then are quick to try and fight. Surely you give them that.
It depends. I think it depends. If the mistake, say if it was McKenna is a mistake, right? And in 6 months they sack him. I don't want to see us go for Tuchel. Like, because then I'm like, now you guys are just starting to do Chelsea doing and going here, there, everywhere. If you're going to sack a guy, bring in someone of similar qualities, just who is better at doing those things. That is why I would say your mistake is forgiven. But if they start going off saying, you know what, actually we made a mistake. Yo, Jose, come back to the club. It's your turn to try and do the rebound tour. Or Conte, we want you. That's when I'll be like, whoa, guys, like, you guys are making me question if you guys are capable of doing what you set out to do. Man like Johnny Sins, he's got Ten Hag's bald head. You've been saying United is back because there's no leak anymore. Now, which one is it, Terry? I'm not Terry in it. Is it another leak?
What's going on?
People look before they speak.
Terry's gonna come back in it. Terry might reply in the comments or something. Who knows? Or is INEOS decided this is a good idea to announce before the cup final? Well, Man United for the entire week and the last couple of months have always been on the we won't comment, we won't say anything until the cup final. They've been on that wave for like a month now. So I don't think it's INEOS thinking it's a great idea to say it out loud now because it's a perfect idea. It's not that. I just think somehow, if one or two things happens, somehow someone in the INEOS board or someone in the sphere of Man United has got the information out to someone, which again isn't good. We don't want that to happen, so we need to investigate that. Or Steinberg's just flipping gone off on his own, connected dots, and then put out a report. That's the only two things I can say that has happened. But I definitely don't think it's something that's done on purpose, for sure. Hope you have that same energy when McKenna fails. 1, McKenna ain't failing. And 2, if he's doing the same foolishness that Ten Hag is doing, then yes, I'll say to him, you're not doing the things that we need you to do, so therefore you need to go. But we'll see.
I keep the same energy, bro. I keep the same energy. I'm not a fair weather fan like these guys.
Yeah.
I give praise when praise is due, and I give criticism when criticism is due. And I already said I'm ready to take a step back in order to take a step forward. Not sure what more do I need to say to these people, bro.
So you can tolerate a crap season next season, yeah?
What you got to define what crap is. So
okay,
crap
for you, what's the bottom? What's the lowest you could accept? Like the worst season that you could accept under, say, McKenna, if he was your manager, without calling.
The thing is, I can't put a number on it, and I'll tell you why. If I see that I'm improving on the pitch, let's say I'm gonna give you an example. We saw Rashford next year, we saw Bruno next year. Obviously, Varane is leaving. So you saw basically the guys who have been carrying this team for a few years, or the main guys of the team. He brings in his own profiles, which you see the potential from, but obviously they're not good enough to right away compete for the league or something like that. And you finish outside the top 4. But you can see the improvement on the pitch, and you can see that, okay, give this guy or that guy a year or 2, and they'll be getting us to compete for the league or something like that. To me, that's when you can tolerate not being a top 4 team, because you can see the bigger picture. But when you see shit football and you see the same players being there that should be leading us to title runs and they're not, then that's when I'm like, nah, this season is a complete fail, because on and off the pitch, we're just garbage. So I could tolerate a bad rank in the league, so a finish in the league where you saw outside the top 4, if you can see the progression on the pitch. And I can only go so far as well. I'm not going to allow it for too long. I just know that I need to allow like 1 year of a rebuild in order to take a step forward the season after.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Twisted Barber back again saying, why are United fans desperate for success? Bruv,
because we're not losers like you.
Dan, are you desperate for success at West Ham? Do you want success badly?
You all are, yeah. I'm desperate. I'm desperate for success.
100%. Like, man got a taste of a trophy last year, and it's Moyes out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to go because he got the taste. You got the taste. Yeah. Someone said Erik. What on earth is that photo? Erik Ten Hag should get another season. He's been managing a team whose players were injured most of the season with bad upper management and new owner takeover. So much have been happening behind the scenes. Well, if that's what you believe, then fair enough. But I don't think that's enough for me to keep him around. Leave KJ out of this. DM. I don't know what he's talking about.
When I said he would get sacked.
Oh yeah. KJ under pressure. We got your back. Thank you guys. Thank you. I also saw someone saying sack KJ. KJ out has been a movement since Hussam. Hussam's made that movement a thing. Ronald here says, as a Man United fan and Erik Ten Hag fan, I feel a bit disappointed, but I think it was time. It's mainly due to starter play and midfield chaos. Ronald, that is a very fair and grown-up way of looking about it, and I respect you for that comment. Thank you. We've got more super chats here as well. First time catching KJ, big up. Don't worry. Don't let Terry come back. Yeah, African cat. I'll let him know that I'm here to take over. You know what I mean? Listen, KJ 2025 might be a thing. Most fans only care about their managers. Hence, Poch gets the benefit from some fans. It's easy to understand. No serious top 6 club would want Poch. Ask them. Well, apparently Chelsea did, and Man United might do. Xavi Hernandez will be your manager. Omar loves him. That is a decent shout from Anthony. Xavi Hernandez. Xavi come to Man United. I've not really seen too much of him. So, and then another super chat here. It says it's not important that the coach/manager can be the energy/face of the club via his personality, similar to Pep, Klopp, Simeone, and even Arteta and Ange. I never got that from Erik Ten Hag. Yeah, that's a good shout. Obviously we had that famous report come out saying that he got rejected from the Spurs job because he wasn't charismatic enough for the role. Maybe that is starting to play a part in people's thinking. Maybe it is. Right. Man United, we're not done with them yet. I want to be. But we have a cup final to play tomorrow against Man City against Pep, the guy that can't be beaten apparently. Before we Dan, before we go to Staffy, Dan, have you got any neutral ray of hope for us? Some outside thinking. Can Man United win the FA Cup?
You know what? I said in the group chat when Staffy was like, "Oh yeah, we need to have this big deep dive analysis into the game," and it's like,
"Hold on, I said we'll just talk about it in depth on the show."
In length. What length is there? Like really and truly, this is. It's not just Man United and Man City, and you can't beat them because they're Man City. You're Man United. We've just spoke at length about all of the problems. I've sat here and heard you both trash Erik ten Hag and the job he has done this season, and you want slivers of hope. You want me to sit there and go, oh, but despite it all, the only hope is that little bit of just Man United shithousery, and hope that Man City are hungover enough for their celebrations of the 4P. But at the end of the day, now I give you no hope. I was, before this Ten Hag news, I thought, you know what, I could kind of see it. Do you know what I mean? Written there. But like I said, I think if he knows he's going, players know he's going, it's just a formality at this point. Like, there's no point us sitting there going, oh, well, if he plays this system and, he puts Casemiro from centre back into midfield, there's no point. There's just no point. It's done. It's over. They are going to ruin you, and it's going to be an embarrassing final. Simple as. So you can sit there and break the tactics and all of this. You don't rate this man. You do not rate Erik ten Hag. And I don't know about you. Well, Staffy seems to think another manager could do well with these players, but you don't rate the players under Erik ten Hag, and most of the people don't rate your players. So what are we really analyzing? Come on.
I don't think the game is going to be a 3-0 like most people saying, because I just don't think finals ever end up being high scoring anyways. Like, it's rare occasions when you actually see a lot of goals in finals, even last year. And that City team last year was absolutely amazing. And they still didn't win 3-0. You can argue that we're worse than last year, so I understand that. But I don't think it's going to be a blow up at all. I understand that we're not favorites. I understand that we should lose, and I will not disagree with that. I could give us a scenario where we could win. I just don't I don't know if it could happen or not. At the end of the day, KJ, it is a cup final, and I don't want us to lose. And I know there's many times where I predicted a loss this season, and it actually happened. And I've been called negative, and I've been called a Debbie Downer and a negative Nancy and all that stuff. People call me a buzzkill. I was like, what buzz did we even have all season for me to kill it? There's been no buzz for me to kill. It's been dead. But I actually do see a way that we could win this game. To me, first and for all, we definitely got to play this game in phases. And I know people hate the word phases, but you can use it in terms of the game, not projects and all that. That's a different thing, because all elite managers do that anyways. They play games in parts. There's a first half, there's a second half, and they play in phases anyways. The most important thing to me is, in the game, don't concede in the first half. In the last 3 games that we've played, we've looked a little bit better. You can argue that Brighton win was a little bit dodgy because we didn't look that good, and in the second half, we took our chances. Yes, I hear that. We looked good against Newcastle, even though we leaked a couple goals. It was a screamer, to be fair, from Lewis Hall and all that. And even against Arsenal, who play very similar to City, we managed to do well against their midfield. Now, I'm not saying by any means are we going to dominate their midfield? Are we going to nullify their midfield? That's not what I'm saying at all. But based on what I saw the last 3 games, if we played this game basically 3 weeks ago, I would 100% told you it's a blowout. Yeah, easy 3-0. But 3 weeks later, I actually do give us a better chance. We have players back from injury, so Varane is going to play. Lissandro's going to play. Obviously, Dalot's been there, and he's been doing well. Everyone beside I see that he can do a job on Doku. If he plays him on whatever side Doku's on, keep everyone beside far away from Foden. Because if he has Foden on him, he's absolutely going to kill him. Don't let Foden play anywhere near Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He killed him in that 3-1 game that we played. The midfield, and I'm going to say this again, Casemiro, I don't want to see him on the pitch. Put this guy on the bench, maybe bring him on in the second half as an impact sub, but that's about it. Run that pivot again of Amrabat, Mainu, and let Bruno play in the 10. Because that midfield has been our best midfield in the last few games, and it's actually worked a little bit. It's not the best thing you could put out there, but it's the best thing we could put right now as we're in. I guess the biggest questions would be who plays in the front line, because McTominay's been playing in the false nine, him and Bruno doing this false 9-10 gimmick, which, not gonna lie, didn't result to a lot of goals. But off the ball, it will be decent to keep up with the City team. And Rashford being back, here's how I'm looking at it. Rashford, Højlund, don't start, come on in the second half. I don't want them to play against the City back line for 90 minutes. I want them to come on in the second half. If you bring him on for 30 minutes and you're still in the game, I think you can manage somehow to win this game. Or if you're down 1 goal, you might bring one back. That will be your best chance. That's what I think. So that midfield, that back line, obviously I said Varane and Martinez being back and all that. And then you get options off the bench now, because we haven't had options off the bench for a while. So the fact that I could sit here and say bring on Højlund, Rashford, and Casemiro off the bench, that's better than anything we've had recently. And listen, Ahmad has been doing his thing. He's good. I hope he starts again. I don't see any scenario he shouldn't start. So we keep him. And as I said, don't concede in the first half. Make changes in the second half to try to hit them on the counter and go against some tired legs. And listen, if that midfield can stay as strong as they've been in the last few games, then, I'll give us a chance that we don't concede in the first half, But there's a lot of luck involved as well, because Foden has been amazing. De Bruyne, obviously, I don't need to talk about him. Doku actually cooked in the last game against West Ham. Dan, you saw that yourself. Haaland, don't need to speak about him. He scored a hat-trick against us before, so he could do it again. Their midfield is amazing. Their backline has been amazing. Even Ederson being out, by the way, doesn't really faze me, because Ortega is very, very good. And he actually played against us in the FA Cup final last season. So all these things being put together, obviously they're the favorites. And by no means am I going to say that we have a solid chance to beat them. But anything happens in football. Anything happens in a derby, and definitely anything happens in an FA Cup final in Wembley. So these players, I understand that the news going on with Ten Hag or whatever, but if this is his last game and they actually want to play for him, go ahead, play for him, give your best for 90 minutes. And if he gets sacked and you're upset with it, at least he's leaving with a trophy, And most of these guys are playing for their future anyways. So go ahead and win a trophy and tell INEOS why you deserve to be here next year,
Yeah, I agree. I don't see us winning this game. I personally, I'm going to be watching the game just to watch Man United's final game of the season. Like, I'm right. It's a write-off for me. From the moment I saw Man City beat Chelsea, I was like, yeah, okay, the FA Cup's done. We just go out there, play our best. The result is the result. And then I'm more excited and more looking forward to seeing how we now deal with this aftermath of the Den Hag stuff, the manager stuff, the player stuff. That's all I'm really looking forward to. That's the only thing I'm thinking about. So
there's no hype going into this, KJ. Like, do you know what? I just realized I'm not seeing, usually for an FA Cup final, this is a derby, a Manchester derby FA Cup final. You think they would be talking about getting hyped, but because it seems like such a foregone conclusion, it's like no one cares about this FA Cup final. Right? It's just no hype for it at all.
And it's a shame because the FA Cup's so special. Like, it's one of the best cup competitions in the world. And to have it in this state, and I do blame Man United. We're the reason why it's not being hyped up, because we're crap. If we was good, say if we were Arsenal, like as good as Arsenal, and we can actually challenge City, this again, everyone will be talking about it. It's previews all over the place. The writers will have a field day with this game because everyone knows we suck. And Ten Hag is about on the door. That's the only thing we want to talk about. So I just want to get this game over and done with. The only way I can see us winning is if Sir Jim goes into that dressing room and tells them, look, you see this man in front of you, Ten Hag, this is his last game for us. And if you guys don't play with your hearts, it'll be your last game too. You know what I'm saying? And literally, that's the only way I can see us potentially getting anything.
Could you imagine that if you're Ten Hag, like this guy? He did that.
Like, you already done me in the newspapers. Now you're doing me in the changing room. Like,
man. Imagine they point at him like, see this guy right here. This guy's you want to be like him? You want to be here? And then they point, you want to be like him?
Oh, that's what when you like get in trouble with your like siblings or friends, and then one person gets caught, and then the teacher or your parents are like, you see him? He's in trouble. Yeah. Because of you might want to be in trouble too, like him, and you just there. It's like, no, mom, no, okay. That is basically what I want the players to feel: the fear of a mother. But yes, Finally, guys, let us know in the comments what you think the score will be. Someone's saying 7-0. I don't know if that's in relation to the Liverpool game or this game coming up, but let us know what your score predictions will be. Staffy, quick one. What's your score prediction for the game?
I'm hoping to go to penalties, and I think that's the only. I don't see us in any scenario beating City in the 90 minutes. There's extra time, right? Or does it go straight to penalties?
No, extra time.
Okay, yeah, I don't see us honestly in any scenario beating them in regular time or extra time. But I am praying that we take them to penalties because that's probably our best chance. And I don't want to predict a loss on a final. Yeah. Let's be honest. I predicted too many losses this season. Let me predict one last win. So I'm hoping for a penalty shootout win.
Yeah, fair enough. Dan, what are you saying?
3-1 Man City. And even if it does go penalties, Man United will win on penalties. If some miraculous way Man United hang on through 90 minutes of normal time and then 30 minutes of extra time, if they hang on for all that time, 2 hours, and get to penalties, Man United is still going to win. But it's not going to get that far. It's not going to even get to extra time. It's going to be 3-1 Man City.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with a dirty 1-0. I reckon they would embarrass us by just passing the ball around so much. When they beat us 2-0 at Old Trafford like 2 years ago, yeah, that hurt. I feel like they'll just do that again. I think they might just pass us the ball.
Sometimes it's worse than getting bad when they just take there and they just chill and go, yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, they'll get one goal and like, you know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm not exerting myself. I want to party. Like, they'll focus more on partying than actually playing against us. That's what they're thinking. I want to party and not be tired, so let me not do this. Okay, but yes, guys, that is the Man United stuff out the way and done. Ten Hag looking like it's getting sacked. Man United looking like they're going to lose the FA Cup final. I know the football gods are a thing, but the football gods won't even save us. You know what I mean? That's how bad we are right now. It's not happening. So yes, guys, we've got some more super chats. Then we're going to move on to the next section. Players won't show up, and it's a matter of how much Erik ten Hag needs to stay, and I doubt they will be a clear out. We losing tomorrow. That's from Tony.
And he said it's a matter of how much, but then he's saying the manager needs to stay. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. People's opinions are their own. Uncle Mad says Staffy, he quote unquote, I'll be called a genius by the end of the season when Basuma is seen as a world class. The clip is on TFT. I've come to revisit. Staffy, are you a genius?
First of all, stop lying, Uncle Matt. Secondly, I live rent free in your head. If you came back a season later to revisit something, I said I think Basuma's world class and he will prove it or not by the end of the season. Clearly, he didn't. I don't know why we still talk about that. Can we talk about all the other takes? When I said United will not compete, when I said Casemiro needs to be sold, when I said so many other things, why did this one keep getting revisited? Oh, wait, I'll tell you why, Uncle Matt, because it's one of the few ones that I got wrong. But it's okay, bro. It's okay. I'm glad that that's how you chose to spend your $4.99 is to revisit something and misquote me. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, the game is the game, man. The game's the game. Talking about the game, the game of merry-go-round manager, pass the manager around, whatever you want to call it, it's happening, and it's happening at Chelsea as well. And something interesting has come out today that many Chelsea fans are probably semi-excited about, which is Matt Law has come out with Robert Zerbi yet to be ruled out by Chelsea as club work through 4-man shortlist of candidates to succeed Mauricio Pochettino. Another 4-man shortlist, but Zerbi not fully ruled out like we thought he was. Is this the appointment that Chelsea need? Because they've been linked to McKenna, they've been linked to Thomas Frank, they've been linked to Enzo Maresca. Now they've been linked to Zerbi. Is this the guy that Chelsea need, Dan?
Chelsea, I don't think their problems are manager level. I think their problems are higher up than that. So Zerbi, there's a lot of question marks over him. He's got some positives, but I think he still has some question marks over him. Obviously, they had some injuries this season, Brighton, but even the first half of the season, Brighton, before a lot of them injuries, he was doing questionable things, chopping and changing the lineup too much. And yeah, they seem to struggle. They sort of got through to, I think they ended up getting to the quarterfinals or the round of 16 in Europe. Struggled to get there, and then petered out. So there's big question marks, and I think that Brighton are such a better run club than Chelsea. The structure they have, everything, are a better run club. Now, from what I'm hearing, it was a mutual consent thing because Zerbi wanted more control, and Brighton didn't want to give up. Why are we changing our model? We're going to focus on the signings, you focus on the coaching. So if he now goes to Chelsea, who I understand had a similar type of conversation with Poch, aren't we going to be in the same scenario? Are they going to give De Zerbi more control like he wants? Or are they going to try and say, no, we want to go through, you're going to be a head coach? So I don't think that this De Zerbi is going to be the Messiah that they want. They have to really change a lot of things at their club, and they need to really gonna have to try and find and sell some more hotels and spend some more money and bring in some now players. It's like Staffy said earlier, Project Youth. It's not going to work in today's age. They need some proven players that can come and do it now. So, out of all the candidates, if they're going to pick someone, go for De Zerbi if he's gonna be willing, because you're Chelsea. If he's gonna be willing to give up the control that he so wants, but. Yeah, Chelsea, man. I think Chelsea fans need to really question Todd Bowley and that before they worry about, this manager's going to come and we're going to suddenly be good. No, I don't think it's. And the problem is the Chelsea fans. I spoke about the Man United fans earlier. I spoke about you guys not being patient. They are the worst, the absolute worst for wanting success immediately now. They've been programmed and conditioned by Abramovich over the years that, we're just going to sack this manager. New one's going to come and he's going to hit the ground running. And that's not working in Todd Bowley era. I think I saw something that said that Enzo has had more managers than he has had goals at Chelsea. That's insane. That is insane. So for them, Chelsea fans, if it is De Zerbi best be coming and hitting the ground running, because they are not going to accept one single season where they're not up there. They say they will, but like I said what I said about Man United fans earlier, but compared to Chelsea fans, they're the most patient fans in the world, because these lot, and I don't care what they say, they're telling lies. If De Zerbi goes for a bad run and you're sitting in 8th, come October, November, December, a lot of the fans are going to be turning on him. We've seen it with Potter. We've seen it with Lampard. We've seen it with flipping Poch. It's just how they are. It's a Chelsea thing.
I agree.
I like that. They love that phrase, don't they?
They're very impatient. And trust me, some of them will go, if they get De Zerbi, some of them will go De Zerbi out before he even gets. As I've seen people already say McKenna out. I'm like, bro, you're just linked with him. How could you be out when you're just linked to someone?
He's not even in. How can you be out?
How can you be out? It's just crazy to me. To be fair, though, I do think that Poch had enough sackable offenses this season. I was surprised that he got sacked, because I thought that getting sick would guarantee him the job for one more season. And I feel like even a lot of Poch outers that I know personally said, well, we want him out, but we're surprised that he got out after finishing 6th, because they thought that was going to be the nail in the coffin that keeps him for one more year. However, when some of the reports coming out saying that he's playing players out of position and he doesn't tell them, and they don't know that they're being played out of position until the 11 is out on the day. So basically an hour before the game, or whenever he tells you guys in the locker room that who's playing where. When you're telling someone they're playing out of position right before the game, when you had a whole week in training to talk about how we're approaching the next game, especially that they're not in Europe, to me, that's crazy. When the injuries are being reoccurred because of some mistakes that you do in training, and you pushing some of the injured players to come back too quick, and the high intensity training and all that. To be fair, that amount of injuries, I mean, United fans want to complain about injuries. Chelsea has way more injuries than us, so they could definitely use that argument. That's something that you have to blame, obviously, on the medical team and the training methods, and the manager oversees all that. The set piece is saying we don't need a set piece coach, but you're conceding all these set piece goals. We need to talk about that, and you're the manager at the end of the day. So all this is under your supervision. So he's done enough for me to say at times where, like, yeah, I understand why they could have given him one more year, but I also understand why they lost trust in him, and they'd rather give the project to another young manager who builds up with this team, develops this team. And as I said, the same thing about United, I'm going to say it right now for Chelsea. They want to be the next man up. I think that's what Chelsea are looking at. They're looking at Arsenal and City right now, and they understand how far they are, and they want to build up to be ready in about a season or two to be close enough to them. Not be at their same level, but be close to them. And I feel like they look at Poch and they don't think he'll be that guy. Not to mention that he wanted a contract extension for absolutely doing F all with them. You didn't win anything. Why are you asking for a reward when you haven't won anything? You know, you need to at least prove one more year before you ask for another contract extension, especially that you didn't start the season well. And what's it called? What else did I want to mention? I think I covered everything up. I'm not gonna lie. Did I miss anything? He's just done a lot, bro. I get it.
Yeah.
There is a better manager out there, especially with Zerbi. If there was no options, I'll be like, yeah, there's nothing out there that's better than this. Zerbi is better than him, and I think he fits this Chelsea team a little bit better than Poch, and he could definitely get more out of him. Oh, now I remember wanted to mention this guy wanted to get rid of Enzo. By the way, I'm sorry. I understand. I don't even rate Enzo that highly. But the fact that he was willing to take over a project, knowing they spent over 200 million on that midfield pivot, so he understood the job he's getting into. And a year later, you're asking for your most expensive asset to be sold for Conor Gallagher. I am sorry. I understand that managers want more power and on signings and stuff like that. But brother, you took on the job knowing what it was. You know the crop of players that they had. They didn't get Enzo after you came in. You came in and you knew Enzo was there. No way you accepted the job, and then a year later, you're like, you know what? See this guy that you just spent 100 million on? Yeah, please sell him. Yeah, I want to keep Conor Gallagher. Come on, bro. It's a joke, bro. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's obviously he had sackable offenses, but I think the main question is like, will they finally get it right? This is not like Man United. This is not like Man United in the sense of like this is their first managerial appointment or the first big manager call. They've had that with Tuchel, and they got Potter. Then they sacked Potter to bring in Frank Lampard as interim. I don't know why you would do that, but they did that. Then they bring in Poch, tell him that, yeah, we're going to give you some time, but you give him a 2-year contract. And then when he gets them to closer to what they want, they sack him. And now what you're going to do? Get a unexperienced manager. Like, it's fine. They just need to get this one right, because otherwise, I think the Chelsea fans will riot. I really think they will have a riot if this next appointment goes wrong, because it's kind of like, what have you done to our club? It's not just enough to be in the Champions League for Chelsea fans. They've won the Champions League like a couple of years ago. They've won Premier Leagues. They've won trophies. That's what they want to see. And if they get a manager now who's telling the Chelsea fans, look, I'm not going to be able to win you anything for another 2 to 3 years, it's going to be carnage. And it will be the ownership that will get the carnage this time, because normally it's the managers. The managers will get some grief. But I genuinely think the Chelsea fans this time are going to go after this, going to go after Top B and Clearlake, because them, man, I don't know what they're doing. But is Zerbi the guy? He could be. I think he's a very good manager. I think that might suit. Depends how much.
Is he a win now manager though, KJ? Is he? If they want to win now, is he a win now manager?
And that's the question. They've said on the reports that they want to get top 4 on a trophy next season. But yet, the people they're looking at don't look like they are managers to get top 4 on the trophy next season. Like, maybe Zerbi could be that guy. But everyone else, Maresca, Frank, and McKenna, I don't see them getting top 4 on the trophy next season. Like, that is not on the cards, in my opinion. And there's this mystery person that everyone's going on about, and they think is Amorim. He's an appointment. I'm like, yeah, okay, these men are serious, and if they give him time, he definitely can win you something, because he's proven that he can win something. So we'll see with Chelsea. Chelsea are going to be interesting this summer. Indeed. Guys, in the comments, let me know who will be the next manager of Chelsea. I want to know your opinions. Right. Dan, there's a super chat for you, mate. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
Yeah, talk about it.
O'Malley said, tell Dan to ask Paqueta who he's picking to win the FA Cup final.
How many yellow cards in the game? Can you ask him?
How many yellows will there be? This
how many
is a nice little segue to something that is crazy. He's actually mad when you think about it. So, as we all know, Paqueta has been charged with basically what is called spot fixing. So he has been charged with deliberately altering the state of the game to win people money via gambling, via bets. And that is an egregious offense in football. And apparently one offense, just one, can lead you up to a ban from 6 months to a lifetime. And he's got 4 offenses that they're looking at right now. And it's been reported that he may face up to a 10-year ban in world football. Man City were linked to him. Looked like they were going to get him last summer. Didn't come out because of these potential charges. Looking like they was going to come back for him this summer. But now they have charged him. And that's 85 million down the drain for West Ham. Dan, how are you feeling right now? Obviously, you just signed Lopetegui. You just signed him. Yeah, you just signed him. Things were looking like they're on their up. Things are looking like they're going to change. And this news just breaks.
Do you know what? It's classic West Ham. The same day we announced Lopetegui is the same day that the FA decides to reveal that they're charging Paqueta. So, yeah, look, we've obviously been knowing about this investigation, everything since the summer when it first come out. And we have to remember, he's been charged. He's not been convicted. He's not been found guilty or anything. So he's been charged. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did this. So what it's supposed to be originally, it was our own sponsor as well that snitched, by the way. It was our own sponsor that snitched. So get Betway out of here for a start. Right. I want to see the end of them. But it's said to be that his family members were the ones that placed the bets from Paqueta Island. The bets came from Paqueta Island. By
suspicion there, can't be related. No.
Yeah, they originally go, Paqueta Island, last name Paqueta. So it's his family. They have to then prove and find evidence such as text messages, communications to his family members saying, this is what I'm going to do, anything like that. Evidence that maybe he put bets on himself. People are looking at the clips. And yeah, you look at the clips in isolation, you go, wow, okay, that looks dodgy. You can't convict someone on looking dodgy just because of the yellow cards that he got are a bit iffy. A lot of people get stupid yellow cards in football. We've seen them. Doesn't always mean that there's gambling linked to it. I'm not saying that he's definitely innocent. I'm not saying that. But I am talking about proof. You can't just say that, yeah, look at this. This was betted on, and it looks like you've intentionally got a yellow card. Because you can't prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. You can't prove. How can you prove? How can you know what was in his mind? It could just been a reckless, stupid yellow card. That's not evidence in of itself. I need to see communications. I need to see something.
Then let's just be honest here. Here's the thing. What are the odds that a day, I don't know, by the way, how much money was placed on these bets, but what are the odds that every time, I'm just going to assume it was like 10K. Let's just use that as an example. You put 10K on a bet and it happens about 4 times accurately. Like, it's not here's the thing. I understand there's no concrete evidence with, as you said, you need to see text. Like, I'm going to do this, and that conversation, something to actually point out, be like, there you go. That's the proof. But what are the odds that someone who doesn't bet like that, I think LB was saying something about they created a betting account the day of, something like that. And they placed the bet, bro, they just placed the bet, and they don't usually bet like that. And they bet on something very specific, which is a yellow card. And then you see suspicion from these clips where it's like he's intentionally punching the ball with his hand or touching the ball with his hand basically to get a yellow, or that double tackle that he had when he tried to kick someone, missed and kicked Semedo. These are the things that you sit there and you just put 1, 2, 3 together. And you're like, okay, the stars are aligning. All of it just makes sense together at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just a one-off. It's a one-off, that's fine, but it's happened multiple times. No way you're betting that crazy money on something very specific and you see something crazy like that happen on the pitch and it happens only about 3-4 times or whatever it was. It's just too suspicious, bro. I understand what you're saying. And you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But come on, we're all intelligent enough to look at it and put the pieces together and you're like, yeah, I
but
can
you
see
can't.
it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not how the law works.
Well,
like
that's the letter of the law. That's why I agree with you. By the letter of the law, they need to find him guilty. But
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying whether he's guilty or not, right? Like I said, it don't look good. It looks dodgy, right? But what I'm saying is, in terms of him actually getting banned, for me, if you're going to ban someone, you're going to take away someone's career with the years that we're talking about. You're taking away his career. If you're going to take away his career, there has to be concrete proof, not just I'm going to add this up and it's going to come to he did it. And I hope for their sakes that you're coming out and charging him. You better have something, because this is impacting us. It's impacting him. It's impacting Man City if they did have plans to sign him. It's causing a lot of problems just by them charging him. He's come out and denied it, which obviously he's going to do. We've said we believe him. We're going to back him, right? So obviously we have to see how this plays out. Someone told me there's rumors about him getting threatened by people in like he was forced to put the bets on by organized criminals in Brazil. Yeah. That's one of the stories coming out. If that's true, he's a victim. Mm-hmm. We have to look into that. Now, if he's done it, and I fully believe if he has done it and there's proof he done it, I fully agree he should be banned, because as a West Ham fan, what you're doing is you're impacting our games for your own benefit. You know, your mind isn't on doing the best for the team in the moment. Your mind is on, I need to get this yellow card. And that's a disgrace. Now, we're obviously going to suffer because, we lose out on a quality player and we lose out on transfer budget. But, I honestly, if he gets proved guilty, I will have nothing positive to say about the guy. And he'll be probably one of the most hated players for me that's ever wore a West Ham shirt, because...
No, he's got to be. He's got to be, because it's even... Okay, so even if it's not like match fixing in terms of a club has paid him to get sent off so you lose a final or something like that. Even if it's not in terms of sacrificing your chance of winning trophies or anything like that. It's still crazy. Like you can't do that. Morally, that's wrong, because you are then affecting everyone else in your team. If this was a solo sport, I kind of get it. You know what I'm saying? I kind of understand, because kind of like, well, you're the only one that's really like getting affected by it in terms of you're not going to win. Say if you're a tennis player and you have to serve like so many missed serves. If you do that, I get it. You are jeopardizing your own game, but you're jeopardizing the game of your teammates, of your manager, of your fans, of your club. It's just you shouldn't do that at all. And I don't want it to be true, because I don't want people fixing games. I don't want people like gaining.
Hey, I want it to be true. I don't want them going to City. What do you mean? I want it to be true.
No,
sorry, Dan. I understand you lose your asset, but I don't want them going to City. Yeah. Hope it's true, bro. I'm sorry. I don't want them to go to City.
I don't know. It's mad.
But if so, looking at it from your perspective, if it was one of your players, say it was Martinez, Højlund, Garnacho, players that you rate, not like just the trash, most of your trash, right? But would you feel a negative way? Would you be like, nah, that guy's banned? Would you hate on that player? Because, like I said, it looks innocuous, isn't it? Like, oh, it's just a yellow card. Yeah. But in that moment, you look at it, right? Say he's done a tackle and done a late challenge on purpose, right? To try and you're giving away a free kick, which then could lead to a goal. You're also not putting in an effective tackle that could lead us to score the goal. You're doing things. And again, like I said, your mind is not on, I'm going to do everything to win this game. And if it's your players.
And here's another thing that you got to think about. Say you're aiming for a yellow. Say you do a reckless challenge for a yellow card. What if it turns into a red?
Yeah. That's it. Because there might be a moment after that where you need to put in a challenge.
It affects
the
course
pull
of the
out
game.
of it.
100%.
Yeah, if it affects the game, it affects the flow of the game, and it's honestly egregious. So if he was a Man United player coming out that they're fixing games, I'd want them sold. I would want them sold. And if they get banned, I'll be happy that they're banned. And I'll be annoyed because you know what? We've kind of experienced this, not in the same way of like match fixing, but we've had a player do something off the pitch that has affected us completely in Greenwood. Him doing what he did was frustrating, not because of what obviously did was egregious, but also as a team. If you just look at it pure sports based, we needed him. In that moment in time, we needed him, and we couldn't use him because he's done foolishness. So like as a United fan, I understand when players do some things out of pocket, it affects you. And yeah, I would be there. I would be with you.
Don't we pay this man enough money? Don't we pay him enough?
I was about to say that. That's
literally.
It's frustrating. How much is he getting paid? Lawless, like 100K
over 100 grand a week.
Come on, man. If you're making over 100 grand, I understand you're trying to feed your everyone eats when it comes to that. You know, Paqueta Island, he's trying to turn the lights on. You know, keep the lights on in Paqueta Island.
He's probably getting he's not just getting what we pay him. Obviously, you're footballers, right? So you get appearances and sponsorships. You get everything. You're telling me you can't feed your family.
It's greed. That's the thing.
Yeah, greed is dangerous, man. Greed is dangerous, and we've seen it many times throughout the years. And one thing I will say though, in terms of just how Premier League clubs, how the Premier League tackle gambling in general. We've seen Tonali get convicted. We've seen Tony get convicted. There was another player, I think it was an Everton player, but there's another player that got convicted, but then the conviction was suspended. So he didn't do it this year. He's going to do it, I think, next season or something. But how can you be so hard on gambling, but yet have gambling sponsors? To me, that don't make sense. If you're so against gambling,
them, right? And
they should be. Well, they should be. Well, they need to sort that out because it is so hypocritical that you're charging players for gambling and gambling offenses, but yet you're having them all over your sponsorship. It's called a Sky Bet Championship, bruv. The whole EFL is sponsored by Sky Bet.
That's what I'm saying. Paqueta is running around with the betting company on his shirt that he's making the bets with. Literally. Like, he's sitting there, Betway, and then allegedly, sorry, like, allegedly making the bets with. It's still no, so yeah, like, you're right, you make a good point. So it is hypocritical. But obviously, anyone should exercise, self-control. If he has done it, it's on him. If he's been, like I said, if he's been forced into it, threatened, blackmailed, then he's a victim in this. And I think then we should look at him like that. And I wouldn't ban him for that if he could prove he was a victim. But, I just don't know, man. The FA, they've known about this and was investigating all this time. Why has it taken so long? They have to have found some evidence, surely, that now is the time, unless they haven't found it and thought, shit, we better charge him because we're doing this investigation all this time. We're going to look foolish if we just... So I don't think people are thinking like, oh yeah, next week he's going to get banned. This is going to play out. He's, like I said, he's been charged. So this is going to take some time. So he's not going to go Man City while this is over his head, but he'll probably still be playing football until he is actually charged. Same way that like, people are talking about the Man City stuff, right? Man City was charged 115 times, right? There's still nothing's happened to him. Why? Because it's not played out. They've just charged them. So the Paqueta thing could take a while. So until such time, he'll be playing at West Ham. Hopefully, it will take like until his contract runs out. And then he can get banned. When's his contract run out? Actually, I should know that. But yeah, because if it's like, oh yeah, it's in his last year of his deal, it's like, oh, he's guilty. I'll be like, oh well. 2027. So he's got 3 years left on his contract. Let's hope this can play out in court over 3 years. He'll be playing the West Ham shirt, do everything he has to do, like bang goals or everything. And then he goes on,
and then he gets convicted, and you're like, ah, cool, I don't mind them.
We need to help out, throw our lawyers in there, delay tactics, everything.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you're checking on
City. The city lawyers.
They know all about that, innit?
Yeah, let's talk to City, man. Our brothers over there, our blue brothers, Man City. Some of them lawyers that you got.
I'll give you the recommendations for sure.
Yes, guys. Well, we'll see what happens with Paqueta. Will he get charged? Well, no, he's been charged. Will he get convicted? Will he get banned? We will see. We're coming towards the end of the show. We've got one more topic to talk about, and we're out here. Remember to smash the like button on this stream. Go and like and subscribe to the Football Terrace, and make sure you're commenting in the comment section below. And guys, just share this out to everyone to make sure they are catching the straight facts. All right, cool. Is it a straight fact show where if we don't talk about Arsenal is in the topics as per usual? It has to be done. That's why, hey, listen, is Terry an undercover Arsenal fan? I don't know, but he told me make sure you guys talk about an Arsenal story, and I'm like, okay, cool, I will do that. But yeah, no, there is an Arsenal story. This one is interesting. So there's a report from I think his name's Peter O'Rourke, and it says Brian Brobbey could be the most realistic target for Arsenal in the summer window. Sources have told Football Insider it is believed Benjamin Sesko, Isaac, and Gyökeres are all also being monitored closely. But it looks like potentially that the striking option for Arsenal will be Ajax's Brian Brobbey. Staffy, is this the kind of signing that Arsenal need to take them over the line?
Ten Hag wanted him. That tells me enough. Ten Hag wanted to sign this guy. So if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Is he the right signing? No, not at all. Bro, listen, without the name individuals, you know the outrage that's going to happen in the so-on called the toxic / negative side of the Arsenal fan base. They've been promised a better striker than Kai Havertz. Is this guy a better striker than Kai Havertz? Maybe. But is it going to be that signing that takes him over the line? Let's just be very honest, bro. Everyone wants an Isaac. Everyone wants a Tony. Everyone wants all these names. Brobbey was not one of them, bro. I honestly, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more realistic about this. I can't remember the last time a decent signing happened from the Dutch league. I've had enough of the Dutch league. Me and Griggs talked about this so many times on our channel. We're like, bro, Dutch league. Okay, I'll give you that, but Kudus is a baller. I'll give you that.
Alvarez.
Martinez has been injured.
The Dutch league banged. So.
Most signings from the Dutch league have not hit. Let's just be honest. There's a few of them in Liverpool. There's a few of them at United. Bro, we can go back to Donny van de Beek and them. The whole state of the Dutch football hasn't been that good anyways. Whether it's the national team or their league. It really hasn't been that good. You know? So if I'm trying to win a league next year, the last thing I'm thinking is let me go get Brobbey from Ajax. Because it's not like Ajax was actually balling this year. Like no one in Ajax was attractive this year. You know? I don't understand how they're not gonna try to break the bank and get an Isaac. Because let's be honest, they get an Isaac, that's a needle shifter there. KJ. Like the minute you get Isaac, whoever you are, that shifts the needle for you. If you're not a top 4 team and you get Isaac, you fancy your chances not for top 4. If you're not competing for the league and you're close enough and you get him, now you fancy your chances to compete for the league. If you miss out by a couple points behind City and you get Isaac, I'm not saying it's granted, but you fancy your chances next year to actually win the league. Does Brobbey do that for them? No, he doesn't. I don't understand it. It's such an underwhelming signing after all the links that we had. And you know it will cause outrage. There will be some loyalists in the Arsenal fan base that will back him no matter what, because there is a lot of people that do that anyways in every fan base. But it's such an underwhelming signing, bro. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I'd be very disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'd be very disappointed if after all these links, we're going to get Brobbey. Half these people don't even know who Brobbey is. The guy got sold from Ajax, then got bought again by Ajax, something like that. And bro, I'm telling you, the fact that Ten Hag wanted him, that's red flags.
Dan, like obviously you probably share the same thoughts as staff on this in terms of if he's a good signing. But this is more of a question about Arsenal in general. Is it time for Arsenal to stop looking at these project players, these risk players, these gem players per se, and start just going straight hell for leather for the proven top class to elite class, world class kind of players to make their team finally get over the line in the Premier League.
Yeah, if they're ambitious, if they're serious about, beating Man City, and everyone's like, oh, can't beat Pep. Well, you can't beat Pep if you keep trying to get these fixer-upper type players. Do you know what I mean? That we're going to try and turn into the superstar. No, buy the superstar now. Splash the money, whatever it takes. If you really want to get over the line, where's the ambition? I get it. Like, if this guy, like, say you try and get Isak and you get rejected, and you try and get Watkins, Oshwin, all these players. Say you try and get them and you get rejected, and then you finally end up with Mr. Brobbey. Then that's in my head because of the chat. Was Brobbey? If you try and get to Brobbey, then in the end, then people go, okay, you tried. You genuinely made an effort to try and get the best possible player. If you're going straight to this guy and just going, we ain't even going to bother trying to get all these high caliber players, then you have to question what that project is. Because if you do that and then you're falling short again and you're going, oh, if only we had this top class strike, if we only had this, that only washes for so long because you're choosing to not even try it and bring in the now players. You keep trying. I'm not hearing like you now. How many years are you into your projects? You're still going, we have got a young squad. We've got a young squad. You choose to have a young squad because every time a transfer window comes around, you sign young players. So stop using it as an excuse for why you're not achieving anything because you have a young squad. You've chosen to have a young squad. So go and sign the experienced, top quality players that are banging in goals now at a high level. So yeah, it would be underwhelmed. It could be success, but it's one of them. I think Arsenal fans would be underwhelmed.
There's too many options in the Premier League. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I've seen people in the comments say Isak is quoted at 200 million. Okay, try to go for Watkins. Watkins is 100 million. Fine. I've seen City a couple years ago drop 100 million. And who'll push for the move? Yeah, 100%. Go for him, bro. I'd rather go for Adam Solanke than Brobbey. I swear, there's so many strikers in the Premier League that would be a better option. And when there's too many options, they can't all be 100 to 200 million. Because if I go to Newcastle, I'm like, hey, how much is this guy? 200 mil. Piss off. I'm gone. I'm going to Villa. Villa, how much is Ollie Watkins? 100 mil. Okay, let me test the water somewhere else. I'll be right back. How much is Tony? Okay, wait 1 second. How much is Solanke? You've shopped around, and there you go. You're going to tell Newcastle to piss off with these prices. If they want to keep them, go ahead and keep them. I'm not paying that. There's more in the market out there. It's a supply. It's a supply and demand type of thing. There's a lot of supply out there. There's too many good strikers out there for me to look at Arsenal and be like, yeah, go get Brobbey. He's going to win you the league. Nah, bro, it's underwhelming, bro. It's really underwhelming. And I think as Arsenal fans, you guys should demand more. 100%.
Yeah, it's not that signing. Like he's probably a talented player. He obviously is quick, he's strong, he can clearly finish. He's been getting goals in every division this year. Probably one of Ajax's best players this year, considering the season that they've had. So it's not about him as a player saying he's awful, but I think it's more of just the statement that he puts out. It doesn't put out the statement of we are looking to win the Premier League. It doesn't. Like last season, they signed Rice, and that sent a message to people saying that they're serious. Now they need to go again. Arsenal fans should not be afraid of being able to go again with these big money signings, because you're in a place now where that's the only way you make your team improve. Like a few years ago, yeah, you could get away with a 30 million here, 40 million there, 25 million there, 50 million for Ben White was seen as too much. But now 50 million is not enough, because that's the place that you're in now. You're in such a good place that, if it's not top quality, it's going to be very, very hard for you to improve. And I've said it before on many shows, Arsenal are in need of win now mode. They need to be in that mode. So you need to drop what you're doing, go bag Osimhen, go bag him, or someone of that quality. Rafael Leao.
He's low-key overrated, though. I will be honest.
But if we're talking about the big name players who have got some kind
I
of
hear it. Yeah. He'll still bag in the league.
Yeah. Go grab those, man. You know what I'm saying? At left back, you've been complaining about Zinchenko. You haven't had a left back for like a solid left back for a few seasons now. Bro, Teo Hernandez. See what's going on with him. Alphonso Davis. Go get those guys. Midfield. Bruno Guimaraes. He's seen as someone is about to become world class. Go get him. Frankie de Jong, if there's any way you can get that man out of Barcelona, go do it.
Yeah, there might be a chance now that the Xavi's out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, go get these guys with pedigree. And I know it will cost money, and I know it will put pressure on your team. And Arsenal fans have this weird thing right now where they don't like the pressure being on them. But you're in that place now. You are the second best team in the country. Many of the Arsenal fans argue that they are the best team in the country this season. So you have to now go and carry top of the season, best team in the top of the season, best team in the league, best team in the country, energy, stature, attitude, and go grab these players and finish the mission. Because the mission's not complete. You still have not won the Premier League after becoming so close 2 years in a row. You have to do something different. And
some of these men don't want the pressure, KJ. That's just simply what it is. There's a lot of individuals that like to sit there and talk about Project Youth and phase 121, phase 316, just weird phases. They don't want to actually put the pressure, bro. You know? And honestly, I don't understand it. I don't understand. If I'm an Arsenal fan right now, I'm demanding because listen, I said Arteta, in my opinion, deserves one more year. That's crazy coming from me because I said he should have been sacked last year. But based on what I see in this year, I said he deserves one more push. But if they don't back him properly and he doesn't make these demands, you only have yourselves to blame, honestly. There's too many good profiles out there for you at the end of the day to try to, and say, Lala said it perfectly, get these fixer-ups or players. Come on, bro. You did too many fixer-uppers. Come on, don't do any more, bro. Go splash that money. Last year when you got Rice, we all said, you know what? These men are serious. They splashed 105 on Rice. Now go do that again and get the final piece of the puzzle because you do need a striker.
Yeah, man. Boom. Yeah. And by the way, it's a compliment, by the way, Arsenal fans. It's a compliment for us to say the only thing you can sign now is world class because
let them
means
be, if they're
really
going to be mad, let them be mad. They'll be mad they'll find reasons to be mad. No matter what you say. If they want to be mad, they'll be mad.
It's a good
thing. The real ones understand. The crybabies can always cry. It's fine, bro.
Yeah.
We got used to it.
So yeah, we've got some money to splash out. Arsenal got some money to splash out. Everyone will be spending a lot of money in the transfer window this season. I can see it. We've got some more super chats before we out of here. First of all, we want to say thank you so much to Tony, our guy, being a member for 12 months. We love to see it. Thank you so much. Z says, Keegan, City negotiating long-term contract for Pep.
Yeah, I just see that story.
Oh my God, man. No fucking way, man. What's good with this guy, man?
Is that real? Is that real report? It's not
that's like a real thing. Report. Yeah, that's a real report. They're negotiating. They're trying to get him to stay for over.
Bro, this guy must hate his family, bro. Go spend some time with your family.
Say no, bro. Say no, Pep. Please do not.
Yeah. Come on.
Bro, I'm about to create a betting account.
10 more years.
Pep-Guardiola at gmail.com. Well, I'm going to go to Guardiola Island and play some bets.
Dan, he's guilty. New song, 80 million down the drain. Lucas Paqueta bets again. You should say fix again, really.
That's an Arsenal fan. Yeah. Roman singing Waka Waka, yeah. Okay.
Hey, that's a bad
man like Joshua Jackson. I know I'm late, but I'm seeing all this outrage about Ten Hag getting sacked before the final. Everybody knew he was getting sacked weeks ago. Plus, what if he leaked it himself instead of blaming INEOS? That is true. What if he said, you know what? You think you can do this to me? What if he's what he's reversing the odds and being like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I will do it. Because if he does it, it's true. If he does it now, he'll get all the sympathy now. No one's gonna be upset with him for getting sacked. So, you know, they all blame INEOS and the Glazers and Man United and the players. So it might have been him. Who knows? Tevin says, I'm hearing 200 billion for Isaac. I'm good, fam, but if them man go and get Brobbey, I'd be pissed. Yeah, Tevin's an big Arsenal fan. He would not be happy with Brobbey.
Yeah, last one there's a middle line. Yeah, there's a middle.
Don't just give 200 mil and go be scared off. Put in 120. Put in offers. Try and offer him player, but at least try. Don't just sit there and go, oh, 200 mil, okay. Like they were trying to offer us like 70 mil for Rice initially and shit. Like at least try.
Well, that means you have to be willing to potentially go up to 200 mil. So we'll see. We'll see. Your doubted Havertz signing and gotten proven wrong. That is true. Wait. What
do you mean it's true? Hold on. Put that back up.
Let me go find it.
Shameless. You just got put it back up. Y'all doubted Havertz signing. I got proven wrong. A year later, we're talking about still signing a striker. So he's not a striker. They're talking about signing a midfielder. So he's not a midfielder. And guess what? You didn't win fuck all. So did we really get proven wrong? I'm like, bro, have some self-awareness, bro, please.
Have some shame, AA. Have some shame.
Love, bro, shamelessness, bro. Extra. I can't believe this. Yeah, we definitely got proven wrong.
Tevin's back here, actually. Tevin said 120 to 200 is a massive difference from 70 to 100.
If they say 200, if they just saying this is our sticking point, then walk away. But like make an offer. Maybe they can be tempted at a 130 or a throw in, like I said, a player plus cash thing. At least try. Just because you offer 120, don't mean we're gonna have to go to 200. No, you walk away. Say cool, okay, it's out of our price range. Negotiate. That's what it's about, isn't it? You negotiate signings, right? Negotiate.
No, here's this as well, Lawless. They finished in a Conference League spot. So they didn't finish in Champions League or Europa League, so the money's less. Potentially, if United win the FA Cup, they're completely out of Europe, Newcastle. You don't want these expensive players when you're not in Europe. And there was reports that came out earlier in the season that Newcastle will have to sell one of their highest earners this season, this summer going in.
Maybe because of Arsenal and whatever. Maybe put pressure on. Maybe he's going to go and tell them.
Exactly. You have a chance if Newcastle... Watkins is hard for, in my opinion, it's hard to get Watkins off Villa this season because they just made Europe. So they got money, they made money, and he will want to play in the Champions League with them. That's a hard one to snatch off. To snatch someone out of a team who's not playing in European competition, when next season you're meant to compete and you're meant to be in Europe and they will probably need the money, that works in your benefit. So I'm going to leave it with two things. Number one, support United tomorrow, Arsenal fans, because you get to see Chelsea fans and Newcastle fans in the mud. You could potentially get Isak on a discount. And secondly, as I said, Newcastle out of conference, that helps your negotiations. That's all I'm leaving it at.
We got one last super chat before we're out here. We're going back to Chike, who says, who do you think will win Euro 24? I don't know about you guys, but personally, this is one of the most open Euros I've seen in a while. I don't think anyone's particularly got the most outright favorite squad, but I do think there are 3 or 4 teams around the same level that all easily could win. And those teams are France, England, Portugal, and I will give Germany a shout because obviously they are a home nation and home nations normally get a big support and a big boost by playing at home. So I think those 4 teams probably within the best shout of winning the Euros, in my opinion. And what about you guys?
Yeah, one of them. It's hard to say. If Southgate don't win the whole thing, he has to be sacked. That time to go for him. So yeah, it's either win or go for Gareth Southgate this season. This is the time to do it. This is the time to win something for England. If not, like you said, any of the France. France are a good shot.
Yeah. I think Portugal probably has the best shout, but they gotta bench Ronaldo. If they don't start Ronaldo, I think that's the best team out there because they're complete on basically all ends. From their goalkeeper depth, the backline depth, the midfield depth is ridiculous. The wingers are decent. That's a very good team, bro. I feel like that team. I don't understand why they don't get talked about enough. That midfield has way too many options. You know. Probably start Jota. Just don't start Ronaldo. If they start Ronaldo, he has to accept sitting on the bench.
Yeah, late super chat coming in as well. I'd rather have Havertz as my starting striker for real. The team is stronger with Partey and Timber fully back. We don't need to spend 120 on.
He obviously hasn't seen the Partey news, has he? From Fabrizio.
Partey might leave, and secondly, he's never fully fit.
He's going. That's what Fabrizio said. Yeah,
interesting stuff. Well, that is a topic for another day, and that will probably be with Terence. Terry will be back, people, tomorrow, hosting the FA Cup final reaction. It's gonna be painful, but make sure you guys are there, because if Man United do win, you might see shameless KJ, you might see shameless Staffy. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, like if we are going to win, let's have some fun with it. You know what I'm saying? But until then, guys, remember to
win on pens. You heard it here first. I'm just saying, we'll win on pens.
Yo, mad. But you guys, smash that like button, share this out to all people, and this stream will take you to Staffy's stream, where he'll be talking more about the FA Cup final, more about Ten Hag as well. So if you guys would like to go over there, that will be fantastic. Go support our guys. Until then, guys, have a wonderful day. Man United, please just I'm living on a miracle. What's that song? I'm waiting for a miracle to come. I'm waiting for that miracle.
Enough of that song.
See you later.